Did Odell Beckham Jr. just leak his plans to sign with the Rams midseason? Find out now. Yesterday on Instagram, OBJ had a post, but more interestingly enough, Kelly Stafford, Matthew Stafford's wife, commented on said post. She responded with, "Hi, how are you? That yacht looks amazing, but Matthew Stafford misses you, so please come back home." What was interesting about this is the way that OBJ responded. He then went to respond in this way. Bunch of LOLs. "Mama, you know what I'm waiting on, and I miss Big Bro. God, it feels right. I can finally tag Matthew Stafford. Can you guys hold it down till mid-season again? And I can come join late and win a ring again." So, what did we learn about this? Well, obviously, we've seen all sorts of stuff about OBJ and Von Miller teaming up again and all sorts of stuff on that nature. But the thing that's so interesting about this is that he just doesn't even, he comes out and says it. I mean, it sounds like this has always been the plan. It honestly sounds like OBJ and the Rams are kind of in cahoots here and that they really don't feel like they need to sign him now, and he doesn't even want to be signed now. He wants to be signed when he's ready. It almost seems like this was always kind of the deal and that they're going to continue to talk about him, and that's part of the thing, keep his name out there, keep him in the press and all that. But the Rams, at the end of the day, likely feel pretty good about the fact they are going to be getting their premier pass catcher back in horns. Now, do the Rams need him? I've been asked that a lot. I don't want to say they need him as if they wouldn't be able to win the Super Bowl without him. But as the Rams learned, and this is a team that has gone through and has gotten smarter and has learned from their mistakes. You talk about signing Ogletree as their first option. They move on from him. They haven't signed a linebacker like that since. Obviously, they signed Bobby Wagner, but they haven't given extensions out like that to a linebacker since. You look at the mishap with Todd Gurley, the injuries there. They do not trust the running back position that much to have a bell cow like they did with Gurley. So there you go. So they have learned, they have built back and learned from their mistakes. And I'm not saying they knew they were mistakes in the past, but they've learned from them. So in this sense, how do the Rams learn? Well, the Rams learned from last season. They learned from the fact that you can never have too much wide receiver depth because they lost Robert Woods. They lost Tutu Atwell, they lost Jacob Harris, and Van Jefferson played injured almost the entire half of the season. So you can never have too many wide receivers, and we're learning that they're likely going to keep 8 receivers on this upcoming 53-man roster. So I don't think that this is an issue. I think that OBJ will be back. I've been saying that. I've maintained it. Everything that I've been told makes it sound like he does not want to come close to leaving LA. He doesn't want to go back to New York like some Giants fans thought and wanted to think. He doesn't want to go back to Cleveland like some Cleveland fans want and they wanted to think. And I don't think he's going to go to Buffalo because at the end of the day, OBJ is in the best market possible for his game and for his brand. And since the Super Bowl, if you haven't been paying attention, OBJ was already incredibly marketable. You talk about a guy that was known just based on his hair after making that catch against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football years ago. He's been known for his hair. His hairstyle has been iconic. It's been called the Odell Beckham Jr. hairstyle. Well, here's the thing. He doesn't have that hair anymore. The guy's still marketable. He has all sorts of endorsements with rings and Jackson and all sorts of stuff. Here's the thing here, okay? OBJ leaves Los Angeles, and it's not that he's less marketable, but he's not in the spot he wants to be post-career. And I understand he could. But when you look at this team and the makings of this team, and he's been in this locker room, he knows the talent that is around him. He knows what Stafford is. He's not leaving this. He's not leaving this at all. The experience that he's had in the NFL, he's been chewed up and spit out by the media. He's been chewed up and spit out by teammates. And he's been chewed up and spit out by the organizations that, 1, committed to him, paid him, and then 2, turned their back and traded him away. While it's an ugly business, you cannot just throw away the nature of relationships and the nature of trust. 2 things can be true. OBJ can want his money, And number two, OBJ can want to stay in LA. And when you have quarterback like Matthew Stafford, you have a coach like Sean McVay, it's pretty obvious here. The decision isn't really much of a decision. He could find a job, and he could get a little bit more money, but is he winning a ring? And this is the thing that was most important about this description, this response on Instagram, is that he wants to win a ring. It's not about getting paid as much as it is about winning a ring. He wants to get paid, but you have to understand both sides. He wants to get paid, but he also probably understands that he is coming off this injury. And the Rams want to pay him, but they don't want to pay him for just a year. They would probably want a 2-year deal, and they probably can't afford too much because they've already spent so much of their cap. So, with that said, I think ultimately this deal gets done. I think the plan was all along for OBJ not just to be ready for midseason, but I think the Rams are going to sign him right around midseason, give him that deal, which will go through next year, and he will be done. It'll be a 2-year deal that he gets in the middle of the first year. And I think that's how they're going to do it. I think that was always how the intention was. And I think Sean McVay throwing him out there in the mainstream media, throwing him out there in interviews, that is him letting him know, hey, Odell, don't worry. We love you here. We haven't forgotten about you. Don't be surprised if it doesn't stop until he does sign with the Rams. But I don't see him going with the Bills. I understand the whole Von Miller thing. I think Odell was just having fun with it. And I think at the end of the day, while the Bills do definitely have a roster, and you could argue he is more needed for Buffalo, you don't always want to leave when you found the secret formula, because you had not been able to win a playoff game up until you got to the Rams, and then you go to the Super Bowl. And Odell was a huge, monumental part of getting them there. And he honestly was probably going to win the Super Bowl MVP if he did not get hurt. So, with this said, yes, I think he ends up with the Rams. Yes, I think Odell always planned on signing with the Rams, as I've said. I think the Rams always planned on signing Odell. I think this has always been the plan, and I think some of this is theatrics. Now, that is not me claiming that he wants attention, he's only doing it for attention. But I do think it's on both sides, and I do think that it's a big story. And when you look at what the media has done for certain players like Trey Lance in San Francisco, since there's been no quarterback controversy, you look at the Rams, obviously the big storyline is can they repeat? But after that, what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about Odell, and you're going to talk about Matthew Stafford's elbow thing, okay? That is what's been going on. So media wants a story. I think this is why it's been pushed so much. And I think the Rams are also taking advantage of it because while they're pushing this story, it also keeps Odell out there so he feels wanted. The Rams show that they want him, and it's made abundantly clear that Odell wants to be in LA. But that is my take on this whole thing. What is yours? Let me know in the comments section below. Do you want Odell back? Do you think that this is all for show? Do you think this was the plan all along? I want to hear all your thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off base. But that's why we have this little thing. So be sure, if you enjoyed this, to hit the thumbs up. Really does help out the channel. Again, only if you enjoy this. If you didn't enjoy it, then don't hit it. And if you also enjoy this and you enjoy other content that's on my channel and you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But that's going to do it for me. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and this has been another video, and the video has been about Odell Beckham Jr. You guys take care, and I'll see you with the next one. Later.